Katana here, finally back with my Boruto reviews. This, of course, is for episode 115, Team 25. Now, I will say that the only reason I did this one separate is because I kind of looked through the list of the more recent episodes. Basically, I was like 9.5 episodes behind. So I looked at the more recent stuff and I saw like the next two both deal with Konohama, and possibly even the next three. So I decided that's how I'm going to kind of catch up. I'll just do it within these mini arcs, which seems simple enough because it's like 3 episodes for the Konohamaru thing. It seems like whatever they're in is at least somewhat entertaining based on the still images of like the Sand Village characters coming back into the fold. So I was like, all right, they might be, finally touching on what they made as the opening for, the last season. So maybe that's the case, maybe that's not the case, but hopefully it'll be something cool by the time I get there. But for this episode, I wanted to just do it by itself because it didn't connect to the Konohamaru stuff, and I just figured I'll just end it as like my final official, single episode review. I didn't bother rewatching the entire episode. I was just like, it's Team 25. The reason I never finished it in the first place was because it kind of bored me, and then all the other random crap that happened that stopped me from making videos entirely kept me away from finishing the episode. But I was just like, I'm not really that interested. Like, it's Boruto. But I went through, I finished the second half, which was good. The second half was like the perfect place to pick up because it was right after Boruto and Sadara leave. Or it's like right in that portion. So they take off, and it's like, oh man, the team disbands because if I remember right, the main characters, I shouldn't say the leader, I guess he was the main character of the episode, but like Hoki, he's not the greatest leader of his team. The other characters, I only remember Ranga's name. I can't remember the girl's name, but she's great at perception. The other dude's just super strong. And then Kakashi in his disguise, he's like, oh, maybe that's why they were working this way because they were working towards their skills. And he has the flashback like, oh yeah, like she was doing this because she knew that the boss was going to want them here, and he was trying to make up for lost time, which is why he was carrying so many. But I was freaking out because she was putting him in the wrong spot, and he was being dangerous by carrying so many things. But I didn't realize they were trying to make it work, which when they have their moment at the end of the episode, I thought it was kind of a good thing that his friends apologized to him as well, because it was like with them doing that stuff, they both kind of admitted, it was like, yeah, we could have been like, hey, this is exactly why I'm doing it, instead of just being like, okay, and then just not doing it. They just kind of left the stress of leadership up to him, but they still did their own thing. And so they were kind of stressing him out by not just saying like, this is why I'm doing this because I noticed this or that, and kind of forming a team themselves. Everyone admittedly was kind of just doing their own thing. He's just technically the leader, so it kind of technically fell on him. But I like the way it was handled. Very simple. Of course, we find out he wants to look like a Kakashi, like Lord Six is the greatest and stuff like that. So that's why he looks that way. I thought it was decent. Kakashi kind of gives him the lesson, not in so many words, but he summarizes what happened between him and Obito, and saying like, there's no time like the present to say you're sorry and things like that. The team works together because we find out that Hoki's main thing is that he has a photographic memory. So him having the photographic memory, he realized the reason that like Boruto and the others were able to figure out how which package was the bomb was because that they didn't have stickers on them. So then he had a flashback like, holy crap, I remember, and there were 3 boxes in the middle. So that's what they end up doing as a team. They end up getting the first one inside the station. So it's like, all right, simple, but now we have to figure out how to get this last bomb, but it's already sent out for delivery. So they end up working as a team. They use their skills of perception. It's like, hey, this is exactly who was on the list to do this delivery. So they use all 3 members of the team for that, because you had to have someone to remember what to do, or remember who was at least doing that delivery. You have your perception, and she was able to kind of calculate like, all I had to do was watch everyone for a day, and I figured out their behavioral patterns. So she had it right exactly where to go. And then we have the final guy who has this really interesting thing. I was like, I don't know if that was just pure technology or if that was like a blending of technology and chakra together, because it seemed like it was pure technology because it just looked like a big blue shield. But also because it was blue, I was like, I can't really tell if it's like a device that allows you to manipulate the structure of your chakra, solely based on the fact that it was blue, admittedly. But I was just like, man, that seems cool. But also, it's hard to tell if that's exactly what it was. But either way, I thought it was super sweet. I was like, this is something we've never seen before. So that in itself, I thought was really cool. And then, of course, they do something which I thought was like a great way to end the episode, is they actually team up these 3 characters, and they basically give them off to Sai, and it's like, you guys are perfect for intelligence. You have a photographic memory. You can basically predict what every person's going to do, and you have that like excessive defense capabilities in case, in the case of an intel mission, the main key is to let one person, the person with the intel escape. So it makes sense that you would have like the perfect team like that, and instead of being like, oh, he's just a great fighter, it's like, no, the fact that he excels in defense specifically is what makes him good for intelligence. So they kind of send them off, and it's like, you kids are off with Sai now as your team leader, and they're gonna go off and do intelligence missions, which I thought was a great idea. I doubt we'll ever see any of that come to fruition, but I was like, I think that would be fantastic. I think there's a lot of potential in a lot of things. So I guess me saying I want to see that doesn't really mean much. I wanted to see a lot of stuff with Asuma's daughter. I can't think of her name right now, but I wanted to see a lot of stuff when that arc first was introduced, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, and it wasn't that great. So even if we did see him, who knows if the writing would be great behind it. But the concept of it is very cool. Like, I would love to see more of that from the Naruto universe. I think they could do some interesting stuff with that, where you have intel-based missions, and it's not just about the combat. But of course, that's what would happen. But it wouldn't be as generic as, oh, they went right to this village out in the open. It would be a lot of ninja spy stuff. And I would love to see that. I just unfortunately don't think that's going to happen. It was just like, oh, here's Sai, and he takes him over. How often do we see Sai in the series? So some of those things, it was like, that was a cool ending, and it leaves you open, mentally for like so many cool ideas. Like, they could do this, and just the ideas behind that sound fun. But we'll see if that even makes a difference. We'll see if that happens. So unfortunately, I doubt it. But it was still a cool ending to the episode, so I did enjoy that. I am looking forward to, I'm looking forward to like the second and third episode of whatever is going on with Konohamaru's thing. I would assume it's all connected, because the first one is Konohamaru and his girlfriend. The second one I forgot the title of, but the third one is specifically Konohamaru's name again, and it's like his will, Konohamaru's will, or something like that. So I'm like, all right, it seems like it's going to build as a story. The first one's going to be the super generic, Boruto asking basically his older cousin for, advice and, relationships, and like, how does that work in the ninja world? I doubt I'm going to be that entertained by it, but ultimately, I just have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I'm getting back into it. Want to just do this episode by itself, since I was halfway through, and I was like, I'll just watch it and just have it be its own thing, and then I'll do all the little arcs all as one until I actually end up catching up. But those are my thoughts on the Team 25 episode and the ending, and the fillerness of that episode. Even though it's super late, I still would love to know what you guys thought about it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And with the way they ended it, would you guys want to see intel-based missions? Because like I said, I think that's something that really they've never done too much of in Naruto. Like, just as a series as a whole, we've had like really small bits and pieces where it's like, okay, this is like a stealth mission, but it's normally some random, offshoot mission. And if it is within the main story, once again, it's, it's very minor stuff here and there where someone really has to sneak to survive. So it's not something that we're super familiar with, unfortunately, from the Naruto universe. But considering the abilities and some of the things we have seen before, like any of the random missions where they have to sneak around, to see an entire, maybe not series, but an entire episode based on that, even if it's just one every once in a while, I think that would be fun. I think it would be really cool. And I would love to see what Sai's like as an adult. I think that would be very interesting to see how he's changed and developed, almost as a human when you really consider the character he was when he started in Shippuden. But I would love to see that. Like I said, I don't think they're really going to give us, that sort of content. But I'd like to see it. Like I said, would definitely love to know if you guys would be interested in that. And of course, what you guys thought about the episode in general. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.